is quiet, so why does it still sound like somebody never stopped talking? I checked every corner, every hallway, every locked door. Nobody was there, only echoes, the kind you don't hear with your ears, the kind that borrow your own voice. So you mistake them for your thoughts. Some of them sound like yesterday, some of them sound like childhood. Some of them still know exactly where to find the version of me that never learned how to let go. It's strange how memories can forget your face but never forget your name. I still hear the voices, not in the dark, not in my dreams, in ordinary moments when the world gets quiet enough for the past to introduce itself again. I still hear the voices, they know every fear I've ever hidden, every goodbye I never accepted, every promise I made to myself and couldn't keep. People think healing means silence, like one morning everything disappears. Nobody tells you healing has an echo. Some days you're laughing, then one sentence, one smell, one familiar place, and suddenly you're standing inside a memory you never meant to visit again. Nothing moved except your heart. The hardest ghosts don't haunt houses, they haunt the places inside you that never got a proper goodbye. I used to argue with every thought, every accusation, every reminder, trying to prove I deserved a different ending. It never worked because fear doesn't lose arguments, it survives them. Then one night I stopped fighting, not because I'd given up, because I was exhausted from defending myself against stories that were already over. Maybe peace doesn't arrive when the voices disappear. Maybe it arrives when you stop believing everything they say. I found myself listening differently, not to the fear, to the silence between the fear. There was another voice I'd ignored for years, gentler, patient, never demanding. It never shouted to be heard, it simply waited until I was tired enough to finally listen. It didn't ask me to be perfect, only honest. Maybe the loudest voice was never the truest one. Maybe it was only the oldest, the one that had been repeating itself for so long. I stopped questioning whether it belonged to me. Maybe the real me has been speaking softly this whole time, waiting for the noise to settle. I still hear the voices, but they don't lead me the way they used to. They still visit, they still remember, they still try. But now there's another voice growing stronger, the one that forgives, the one that stays, the one that reminds me I survived everything it said I wouldn't. I don't think the past past ever completely leaves. I think it changes volume. Some seasons, it feels close enough to touch. Other seasons, it fades into the background like rain. On the other side of the window, maybe healing isn't learning how to forget. Maybe it's learning which voice deserves your attention. The one that tells you you'll never change, or the one that quietly reminds you you've already begun. I spent years thinking I had to silence every echo. Now I know better. Echoes only exist because something once mattered. But echoes are not directions, they're reminders. And reminders don't get to decide where I go next. I still hear the voices sometimes, but they no longer sound like home. For the first time, home sounds like